So here's the second part of solving for equations. So we got three equations here, and we're going to solve for each of them: our x, our y, and our z. That's what we're looking for. And when you're thinking of an equation, I like to think of a scale. So when you got a scale, you got your left side and you got your right side of the scale. Got to make sure that if you ever put any weight or take off any weight from either side, let's say add 5 pounds here, got to make sure you add 5 pounds over here, or else to be, or else the scale becomes unbalanced, kind of like an equation. And when you're thinking of an equation and a scale, the similarities, think of the center as an equal part. So 5 equals a 5. But we're not doing that one. We're doing this first one over here. We're going to do all three actually in this video. And when you want to work these out equations, what you always want to do is cut them right through the middle. That way you can have one side of the scale, the left side, and the right side. So that's your first step when it comes to an equation. Line right through the equal sign. All right, so now I did that. The next part, good job, boy. Thank you for that. All right. The next part is getting the inverse. So that way we can isolate the variable. The variable is your letter x, y, z. You want to have it by itself. So you want x by itself on this side, you want y by itself on this side, and you want z by itself on this side. Let's start off with this first one. In order to get rid of that 4, you need to do the opposite of what the 4 is doing to the x. Right now you got 4x. You're probably wondering, what does that mean again? Well, when you have a number next to a letter, they're multiplying. So I'm going to put right here a little dot that's hovering in the middle. When you see a dot hovering in the middle, that is multiplying. If it's on the floor, that's a decimal. But if it's hovering right in the center, that is multiplying. So I got negative 4 times x. I got to get rid of the 4. So since negative 4 is multiplying the x, I have to do the opposite. And what is the opposite of multiplying by 4? Dividing by 4. This is how I write division. Divided by the same exact number, by negative 4. If I do it here, remember, think of it as a scale. I got to do it to the other side, so I'm going to divide this also by 4. When you do that, right here, these two don't necessarily get canceled. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 gives you 1. All right? Now, you could put 1x, but I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just scratch it off and just leave the x by itself, because we already know that 1x stands for that just 1x. You got your x by itself. That's what you wanted, all of this. You want your variable x by itself. Bring down your equal sign. Finish working this out. Remember tic-tac-toe. A positive divided by a negative gives you a negative answer. Positive divided by negative gives you a negative 5 in this case. All right, that looks kind of like a 5. So there's my answer for the first one. Remember, think of it as a scale. If you do it to this side, you do it to that side. And since I was multiplying by negative 4, I did the inverse. I divided by negative 4. Same thing over here. I want the y by itself just like I had my x by itself, so I need to get rid of that 3. Do the opposite. I'm taking away 3 here. So in order to get rid of that 3, I need to do the opposite, which is to add by 3. So I'm going to add both sides by 3. I'm going to add here 3. And if I do it here, remember, it's a scale. I do it here to this side as well. Now, the reason I did this, let me see if I can get that. There we go. All right. There we go. So the reason I did that is to get rid of this 3, because it creates a 0 pair. That is 2 pairs of numbers that when you pair them up, they equal to, guess what? 0, nothing. And that's what you want. You want to get rid of that minus 3 to have y by itself. So it's a 0 pair. I can just scratch it off because it equals to nothing anyways. Hold on, we'll play later, boy. I'm going to bring down my y, bring down my equal sign, and finish solving the rest. 15 plus 3 gives me 18. There it is. Down to our last one. Now right here, we had to get rid of that 3. We subtracted. So we did the opposite. We added. Over here, guess what we're doing now? We got z divided by, remember this right here stands for division. Z divided by 6 gives me 8. Again, do the opposite. Since you're dividing, you need to do the opposite, which is to multiply. I'm dividing by 6. What's the opposite of dividing by 6? Multiplying by 6. So do that here. Multiply by 6. And if you do it to one side, you got to do it to the other. So I'm going to also put right here divided by 6. Why did I do that? So I can have z by itself, because these two, they now cancel each other out. So we're going to get rid of those 6's. They're gone. They eliminated each other, leaving me with the z, that's what I wanted, by itself. If you notice, that's what you're trying to do here. Z is by itself here, y is by itself, and x is by itself. Now do to the last part. To work out 8 times 6, that's easy. That gives me 48. All right, so let's go over this again. When it comes to an equation, your first step is to put a line right through the middle. Then, what you want to do is have the letter by itself. Look at that. Every one of these has a letter by itself. Also, make sure you do the inverse, which is the opposite. Right here I was multiplying, so I divided. Right here I was subtracting, so I added. Right here I was dividing, so I multiplied. So that's how you get rid of the numbers, by doing the inverse. Hopefully that helped.